the Children's Hospital is not going to open now, they say, until at least March 2025. Another delay. Well, Catherine Murphy is the Social Democrat TD for Kildare North. Catherine, is there any reason that we should have faith that March 2025 will actually see the Children's Hospital open?
Look, we would very much hope, I think everyone would hope that this hospital will open, as quickly as possible. And we were hoping that would be no later than the autumn of next year. There's two sources quoted in the article. One senior, some senior paediatric doctors have been told that it will run into 25, and then somebody who is involved in the project saying that the deadline is highly unlikely. But one piece of correspondence that, for example, the Public Accounts Committee have received is saying that the National Paediatric Hospital Development Board, who were the ones charged with this project or overseeing this project, have not received the programme for substantial completion. They've been trying to get the contractor to provide them with that for several months now. That will give us the actual timelines that the builder is working to, but it's not a good sign that they haven't been provided with that, and it certainly underpins the concern about a further delay.
And I assume, though, a further delay inevitably leads, does it, to further cost increases?
Well, that's been the case. I mean, the hospital has been behind right from the word go in terms of the delivery timeline, and that was further impacted by COVID, for example. But even when construction opened, the hospital didn't recommence work for some time. But it has brought us into when the work commenced, the contract included a provision that anything above 4% inflation would be carried on the state side. When this project commenced, building inflation was quite low, but as you know, it has escalated. So that's added to the cost of building the hospital. And then there are very large numbers of claims that the National Paediatric Hospital Development Board are disputing, are going through them robustly. I mean, there's something like 1,800 claims have been made. A lot of those have been disputed, but there's still something like 600 of those to be gone through. Some of those will end up in the courts. That won't be a delay that will be fought out in the courts after the hospital opens, but we won't know how much the hospital will have cost until those claims are settled, if you like.
People are texting in, as they always do, and making various points about accessibility and whether it's in the right place, but others, why are there no cost penalties for underperforming contractors? How many more millions of taxpayers' money are going to go to building contractors because of this? There's no accountability for public funds, and it's a slap in the face to the public. I mean, is that texter right? Is it a slap in the face? Does this all go back, though, to the structure of those contracts in the first place? Yeah,
I mean, there's clearly been a problem, and that contributor is not wrong. You can build in penalties. That if something is not completed on time, there's a penalty for every month or every day that you lose. Very often you see that in road projects, and road projects have, in a lot of cases, come in on time and on budget. I mean, obviously, we don't build a children's hospital, very, very often. This is a very major project. But there were problems with this right from the word go. And if you don't do your specifications right and you have add-ons, it obviously adds to the cost. So a lot of this is getting the work done in advance and having things nailed down, and that has been a topic for discussion and criticism at the Public Accounts Committee in relation to this project. It was also a two-phased project, and that was highly problematic. It was a unique way of doing things, and I think it won't be one that we can say we've learned lessons from.
A uniquely poor way of doing things.
Exactly.
I mean, the fact is, though, once it gets built, I mean, people will be relieved for its existence. But I just wonder what you make of this quote that was in the paper as well at the weekend from one of the hospital consultants who'd be moving from Crumlin or Temple Street. What is hugely impressive is the large public space and all the facilities for families making long journeys, but it's not better than we have in Temple Street or Crumlin in terms of space for examination rooms. I mean, beyond the delay, that kind of set off alarm bells for me.
Yes, it certainly did for me as well. And I've heard that from another source that they were very upset when they actually saw just exactly the space that they're going to have. I mean, you'd expect this to have scoped out all of those things in consultation with the people who are actually providing with the service, and also including input from the patient advocacy groups as well. That would be gigantically disappointing. Now, we're seeing this emerging into the skyline, if you like. It looks very impressive in terms of the building, but how it functions internally is really going to be important as well.
So, I mean, is it a case then with this particular project that we've made our bed contractually, as it were, and we just have to lie in it, and that the lessons to be learned are to be learned for future projects? Or is there anything can be done to speed things up or get them under budget at this point?
Well, I think the one thing that's really important is to keep this timeline as tight as possible, and this will come as a piece of correspondence. It'll come up in the Public Accounts Committee. It would worry me that we're being told that they still haven't got the board still haven't got the programme for substantial completion. That's when the keys will be handed over, and when that programme is worked through. But if that programme is not available even at this stage, I would be concerned about that, and that's certainly something that we'll be discussing on Thursday. But in terms of the location, we can talk as much as we like about the location. That ship has sailed at this stage, and there certainly will be problems with access and all of that. But that is not an issue we can do anything about now. And as far as learning lessons, I mean, we already have another hospital that has been talked about that has run into some difficulties in a new new national maternity hospital. And certainly, if there are to be lessons learned from this, it's nail down your contract first, find the right location, and make sure it's as watertight as possible. I would have thought are key lessons in terms of cost, but certainly scoping out what is required from the point of view of delivery of health is also equally as important.
Catherine Murphy, Social Democrat TD for Kildare North. Catherine, thank you as always for speaking to us. And you're absolutely right, the texts are flying in on the location. Kieran, they should be planning to build another children's hospital now for when they realise the massive mistake that is the new hospital, and we all know is not accessible. It will be very expensive. White elephant in the city, and that is from Des. As somebody else says, what Catherine Murphy means to say is incompetence, politics and incompetence, doomed from conception, wrong site, things were doomed before a block was laid. 087 1400 106. Huge amounts of people with strong views on whether children should be confined to a particular part of an airplane. Yes, 100% agree. Why should other people's life choices take preference over those who choose to or cannot have children? Somebody else, Carol, says children, lads, they're like farts. You can just about stand your own. And I would so gladly, says somebody else, sit in that kid zone so I could avoid the death stare from other passengers about my children. See, that's where I'm coming from as well as a parent. It sounds awful to be surrounded by other screaming kids, but that beats the stress of trying to stop your screaming kids put off other air passengers.